Ms. Blaney, you have the floor.
Well, thank you, Chair, and thank you for being here, Nina. I appreciate it very much. And I also just want to take another opportunity to thank you for your service and for your generosity with this committee, because you do come visit us and educate us every single time. So thank you for that. My first question to you is sort of two questions wrapped up in one. I would really like it if you could share with the committee how being in the Gulf War affected your mental and physical health. And the second part that I want to tie in with that is you said in your introduction to us that Canada never thanked you for your service during that time. So I'm wondering if you could talk about how it impacted you mentally and physically, and what are the ramifications of that in the context of Canada not appreciating or acknowledging that service?
Thank you for your question. After the war was over and I returned to Germany, I was unaware of any impact on my health at the time. Other than my anger at the treatment by the CAF towards the end of the combat, I did not think my time in the Gulf had any impact on me. I knew what Gulf War syndrome was, and I didn't think I had it. And I would have said that for years and years. But recently, I've been diagnosed with inappropriate sinus trachycardia. When I'm relaxed watching TV or something like that, just watching a movie, my heart rate will suddenly elevate and it will go up by 30 beats per minute, and it'll stay there. It just lingers. It's even lingered through a night of sleeping. I don't know what that's caused, and so far they haven't figured it out. I get to go do another test tomorrow. Maybe they can figure it out then. But I am conscious during the Gulf that I took pyridostigmine bromide tablets, 8 hours a day for almost a month. And the reason we were told we were taking it because if we were exposed to sarin gas, we had the atropine injectors, which would help us, our hearts keep beating. But if we weren't exposed to enough, we were told that the pyridostigmine, the atropine could kill us, and that we needed the pyridostigmine bromide, the PB tablets, to help us from being killed by the atropine. Additionally, we took antibiotics every 12 hours for weeks. And if you do the math, that means every 4 hours we were supposed to take a pill. Another thing that happened is there was an anthrax vaccine, and it's been around for years against the bacteria, but they decided that we would get it. And the way they decided who would receive the vaccine is they looked at when the anticipated rotation date back to Germany or Canada. So if you're anticipated, because the vaccine took 3 parts, if your anticipated return to Germany or Canada was going to be before you could get the 3rd part, you weren't going to get it. So if you were like me, scheduled to get it 4 days after you're scheduled to be rotated back, you got they started you on this. If you were scheduled to go a week before I was scheduled to go back, you wouldn't get it. There's also, we were exposed to the oil fires. And when he lit the oil fields on fire, we did not experience bright sunlight again in the Gulf, period. And when the first time I really saw the sun again is when I was flying back to Germany. And we lifted up, I don't know if it was 10 or 20,000 square feet, and we suddenly broke into brilliant sunlight. It was not a cloudy day. There was no clouds in the sky. But as I looked out the window of the Hercules aircraft, I could see the black ring of smoke that was entirely around horizon to horizon. It was absolutely black. I've been in poor weather conditions before, like even some dust conditions in the south. Nothing like this. It was just pure black, the black of your glasses frame. So that's, and I do have skin cancer, which is what FAC said, okay, well, you were there, so we will, in a special duty area, so we will accept that. Took them a while to accept that. But I talked about feeling that Scud missile attack towards us. The first night that it started, the war, was January 16th into January 17th. And we had trained for this kind of potential nuclear, biological, chemical warfare in Europe. Thinking back now, what we did there was a joke, but yeah, we did. So I had my NBCW suit with me. We knew the war was starting, and even prior to the war, we were told we had to take it downtown when we were allowed to go downtown. I don't know how all the locals would have liked if we had been able to hear an alarm, and we're suddenly getting dressed in this, and none of the others had it. So I thought that was a waste of time. But we did have it. And on the first night, the alarm went off 5 times. And I went, each time I got into my full gear, sitting with my gas mask, I laid on my bed in the bunk because I was off shift at the time. I laid in my bed and I looked at the thin tin roof of the old workers camp. We were in a former workers camp in CD1. And I thought, well, I'm definitely safe against a Scud missile with that thin tin above me. As it turned out, none of them came towards us. They were all towards Saudi Arabia or Israel, but we had no way of knowing that. It was a very tense night. On February 23rd, 2022, I went to bed knowing that Putin was going to launch his missiles and his attack on Ukraine. It was clear from the news. I'm someone who follows the news, so I was very clear of that. And I woke up in the middle of the night. First of all, I was dreaming. I was back in Doha, looking at the roof. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was sure I was in Doha because I knew what the Ukrainians were going through. I knew what that feeling of fear is, to lie there and know that you really have no protection whatsoever. If a Scud hit directly, it wouldn't matter even if what shelter there was, we were dead. But the one Scud he fired at us, he fired 88 Scuds, and the one he fired was not. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you.